Hey gardeners, we had a hard freeze last week and I got to show you a few things around the garden, around the food forest that were affected by the freeze. So let's get into that today. First of all, hi to all the new gardeners out there. I'm Lane, this is Lane Vids. This is where we hopefully teach you how to establish that food forest so that you can grow some delicious food in your yard for your kids and your babies so that you can have the most delicious stuff to put in your body and the most nutritious stuff to put in your body. So if you're interested in that, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button. We start all of our videos right here at the composter. I honestly haven't done much with it. We had that hard freeze, hadn't had time to do much with it. I don't even think I've tumbled it since last video, but let's take a look in there and see what just a composter sitting doing nothing looks like. And it's breaking down. It's actually looking pretty good. Look at that. Huh, that's interesting. It's a little clumpy, but not bad. It's actually doing pretty good. On this side, this is all just grass and leaves that I left in here after mowing the lawn one time. Just kind of curious to see what would happen. Looks like it might need some a nitrogen source in there because too much carbon. But just kind of doing some interesting tests here. By the way, this is the Yimby tumbling composter. They may have changed the name on it. I can't remember exactly what the name is. FMC something or another. I'll link it up down in the description below. It's the cheapest tumbling composter that actually works fairly decently, and that's why I got it. There's another one called the Lifetime that I really like. I've seen one of my dad's friends had it, and then there's also like this super awesome one called the Jora form. I'll link that up down in the description below. Still got some pumpkins out here. As you can tell, they did not get thrown into the compost pile like they were supposed to. Let's go ahead and assist with that. Also, my tools didn't get put up. Kids going to town, they like to take their pumpkins after Halloween and just hammer them down and whatnot. Let's see if we can, they're just breaking up now. Oh, these things are disgusting. This is the composting process right here. There's the mold, got some little bugs flying around it. There you go. So this is our compost pile right here, and it's just all the leaves are kind of falling into it that are on the trees above it, all these trees right here, and so it's making some good ground cover there, kind of covering up all the stuff that we had down there as well. And so I'm kind of curious to see how the compost is going to look whenever we turn it come the spring. And we might make this into a garden bed as well. Kind of cut back some of these branches right here and see if we can actually grow something in here. Looks like we got a little something growing right there. I can't really tell what that is, but they look kind of like mint. I don't know. And then this little guy right here, he kind of comes and goes. I don't know what that is. But if you have room for a compost pile, definitely recommend you doing that. If not, you can just get a tumbling composter, something a little more small, and you can kind of throw it to the side. But as far as composting goes, you got to have that good, nutritious forest floor for your food forest, and the best way to do that is to get some compost going in your yard. Trees are starting to go dormant right here. This is the plum tree, I believe, or the mayhaw, never can remember. You want to play with it? But it seems to be going dormant. They do this every year. And then, hard freeze affected the orange tree. As you can see, there are no more oranges on this tree, except for this one. Oh, look, there's a couple up here. I stand corrected. There's one right there, and there's one right there. Looks like the high ones are still on here because my wife came out before the freeze, and she picked all of the oranges. So we actually got to get a ton of the oranges. They were super good, super ripe. We've been eating on them. We had so many that she brought them to her classroom. My wife's a teacher, and she let some of her students have them, trying to feed her students some of that nutritious food that you can make here in your food forest. Look, there's a couple more way up there as well. She just couldn't reach those. So we got tons of production out of that thing, and in fact, our friends who have 3 orange trees, theirs produced as well, and so we went to their house and picked a bunch that she brought to her students as well. So that's been awesome and productive. Very excited about that. Can't wait to show y'all the banana tree. I don't know if y'all are ready for that. How does a tropical plant survive a frost? This is the garden boxes right here. They're just kind of doing their thing, just relaxing. composting down, because I put some leaves on top of that, and we're gonna see how that looks come the springtime. We'll probably plant something there. Blueberry bush, again, going into dormancy, just kind of doing its thing. Not really production because that's a summer crop right there, but looks like it's got some good growth on it, which I'm very excited about. And we had a good crop this year since we planted those other two up there. This is the elderberry bush. It's getting nice and tall. Didn't really go into, I don't know if these things go into dormancy or not. Yeah, you got a leaf right there. But I haven't had any production of elderberries from this yet. I'm kind of curious to see what happens there. We haven't planted anything in this little area yet, just kind of been tending to it here and there, but we never really got a fall crop going. We should probably do that. It's just a matter of time. And then over here we have our roselle. As y'all can see, looks like the freeze kind of took its toll on that. Bless you. And it's turned brown. All the roselle buds started, they're not looking as red. They're looking kind of brownish and orangish, which is very, I don't know, I really like the roselle. The basils all stood the test of time there. It stood the test of winter, early winter that we got. And this bush, I think, goes into dormancy. Maybe it'll spring back up come the spring. And then the comfrey, stuff just grows. If you want something that just a good ground cover, get some comfrey. I also think it might attract some pollinators as well if you're looking for that. Now the creme de la creme, are y'all ready for this banana tree? Oh, yeah, it got hit hard by the freeze. If y'all know how to, I should have put a sheet around this or something, but how to get this thing to grow back. I don't know if I need to prune these things back and just kind of let them grow again, or if I just leave it like this and they'll kind of take shape again, although I'm thinking that I might come through and just prune these things up. But that hard freeze really got it pretty rough, and hopefully we can get some a little bit of make this thing survive the rest of winter. Hopefully it doesn't get as cold, but I'm afraid that we're gonna have a super cold winter just because we had this cold snap come through so early. I mean, it was down into like the 30s and the 40s, which is crazy around this time for us. The milkweed has actually been doing really well. This is another thing that I need to tell you guys about. We found like, I don't know, 12 to 15 caterpillars on this thing. If y'all don't know, milkweed attracts butterflies if you want to do a butterfly garden or something like that in your food forest. And so before the freeze, my wife was like, I have to save the caterpillars because we want to have butterflies. And so she went through and took them all, and her and my daughter kind of went and made a little habitat for them. They peeled some of the milkweed so they had something to eat on, branches to climb. And now that it's gotten warmer, we brought them outside, and check this out. We have little chrysalises in this little dish right here that we're just waiting for the butterflies to emerge. I want to say there's about 5 to 7 of them in there. They're really, really pretty. They have like this gold band around them and super duper cool. So I'm very excited to see what happens here with these chrysalises and see if we get some butterflies out of it. It's super duper cool, and I'm very excited to see what happens there. While we're in the front yard, this is a blueberry bush right here, dormant. We have the other blueberry bush over there, growing but dormant. And then here is the apple tree right here, starting to kind of turn brown and whatnot. So we're kind of just watching it. I'm glad to see that it has some life in it. Yeah, are you excited about that? Yeah. By the way, if you guys want to check out any of the stuff that we've used to create our food forest, whether it's the fencing along the fence that we use as a trellis, or the compost forks that we use at Yimby Tumbling Composter, I'll link it all up down in the description below. Y'all can go click on those and read some other people's reviews and see what they think of it, and kind of get a better idea of some of the different tools that you can use to establishing your food forest. There's also a book out there called Companion Planting, which is something that we usually do with our food forest. And it just tells you about what kind of crops and vegetables grow well with other crops and vegetables. So definitely recommend you guys at least looking that up, search it online. The pepper plants, they're finally, it looks like, starting to die. At least that one is right there. Got a little bit of something going on right there, but this is that pepper plant that was like falling down, and now I think Krista kind of picked it up. But yeah, but this is exciting right here. The asparagus, we're getting some asparagus here. All of this right here is asparagus plant, and I honestly don't know much about asparagus. if we like cut it right here and then you eat this, or is there more to it? All I know is that they go really, their roots go really far down into the ground, like 15 feet. And so it brings a lot of those nutrients down from the earth up to the top. And it just really helps your soil. So that's another reason why we planted that, besides the fact that it's an edible. We definitely need to get back here and kind of clean up and whatnot. We still haven't had a chance to do it, especially with that hard freeze. What is this thing? Is that a pepper? Yeah, it's a pepper right there, just barely hanging on for dear life. And then over here, we have the passion vine still growing along the fence. Actually, before the freeze, Krista noticed that there was a passion fruit growing somewhere over here. I don't see it anymore, so I think it may be gone pecan. But the passion vine goes all the way down to here, which is super exciting. This is the trash pile right here. I kind of started mowing over it. Looks like some of the greenery is kind of coming through. I might just turn that back into a just grass, or I don't know if we're going to plant anything there, because we might try and turn that other bed into a garden. We'll have to kind of see how that goes. But like I said, if y'all want to check out any of the stuff that we've used to create our food forest, I'm going to link that down in the description below. And if you want to see this food forest, either last week's video or this food forest from the first video we ever did, I'm going to put those right there on the screen. You guys go and click those videos. Or if you want to see my full review of that composter and other gardening products, I'm going to put that on the screen as well. You guys can go and check that out. Thank y'all for watching. Remember, keep composting and growing stuff. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, get it.